Just don't tell him about neuropathy. Next I moved. Paul was with me once when I first fucked my first faggot. And he's been holding that over my head for 2 years. I fucked a faggot. I just want to say it now so nobody else can tell. I liked it. I would have married him, but he had to go away and get an operation. I'd like to move now, Paul, if you don't mind.
Yo, so you know I had to talk about it, man. Hit that fucking like button. I'm a big fan I'm a huge comedy fan. Old school, new school, present. Paul Mooney, Richard Pryor, all that good stuff. So, Richard Pryor Jr. allegedly claimed that 2 days ago that Paul Mooney had assaulted him as a kid. And then Richard Pryor's bodyguard did an interview on Comedyhype, which is a page here on YouTube. I don't know why I'm giving it a free plug, but it's a dope page. It's basically Vlad TV for comics, except for the host isn't a hip FBI informant, DJ Vlad. You know, these rumors are circulating, and on that, you know, site, Comedyhype, Richard Pryor's bodyguard, former bodyguard, looks like D.L. Hughley now, if he was 70 years old, said that Paul Mooney fucked Richard Pryor Jr., Richard Pryor's son. Now, this is all alleged. Now, the only reason I'm even giving this any credibility, because I'm not crazy about dirty laundry coming out from 40 years ago, but the only reason I'm giving this any credibility is because, for the simple fact, Paul Mooney and Richard Pryor stopped talking for reasons unknown years and years ago. Now, Richard Pryor died in, I think, 2005, but they stopped talking, and they were really good friends. They grew up together in Hollywood, and everyone always wanted to know what the fuck. Why did these two guys who made so much greatness, they wrote for Sanford and Son, they did so many things, and I posted that clip at the Richard Pryor roast in '77 where Richard Pryor was really going at Paul's neck for being gay. And I mean, Paul Mooney, I mean, you know, some people they don't have to announce that they're gay. You just know it. And Paul Mooney's one of those guys. Great comedian, all-time legend, but I mean, it is what it is. The guy wears scarves, he has very feminine mannerisms. Everyone knows. He's like the gay uncle in the family. And it's funny because on that roast, Richard Pryor calls him Miss Thang and basically goes at Paul Mooney's neck. But when they roasted John Witherspoon a few years ago, an earthquake called Paul Mooney the gay uncle in everyone's family. Paul Mooney took offense to it and got upset. So is it okay for Richard to say it? Is it because Richard knew something that everyone didn't? I don't know. But he was okay with Richard making gay jokes, but it wasn't cool when Earthquake did it. I don't know if it was a respect thing or what. But one of the reasons of credibility is Richard Pryor Jr. has also allegedly said that this is true. And Richard Pryor Jr., from rumors on the street, people say that he's been a drag queen. He's been participating in drag queen shows since the early 90s. So the damage has been done. And, you know, Paul Mooney recently canceled one of his stand-up shows. So, you know, I guess Paul Mooney got his Me Too wake-up call. You know, this is kind of like when Quincy Jones was running around telling everybody's business a few years ago. But instead now it's someone who was actually from the inside. And the credibility is there because we know how Paul Mooney is. And we also know that Richard Pryor's son has made these comments. And now Richard Pryor never said anything about it, kept it under the rugs. But, you know, it is what it is. But, I mean, it's crazy that Paul Paul hasn't spoken on it. I'm not sure if Paul Mooney's on social media. He's about 85 years old. I don't think, you know, he's going to get on there. But Paul Mooney's slowing down. You know, he's definitely slowing down. He's a legend. But my whole thing is that you can't not hold Paul accountable. You have to. You got to hold Paul accountable, but some of it goes on Richard Pryor. You knew Paul Mooney had an alternative lifestyle, if we could be professional about it, and you still had him around your kids. And, you know, I'm pretty sure his kids referred to Paul Mooney as Uncle Paul, Uncle Paulie. They probably sat on his lap, you know, plenty of times on set and things like that, and God knows what. So I mean, some of it probably goes on Richard, and maybe it's a personal thing. I don't think Richard wanted this to come out. As much as Richard and Paul probably had their issues, I'm sure Richard had respect enough not to put this out in the public. So that's my problem with it. The fact that the bodyguard for a couple of dollars is exposing dirty laundry. Richard Pryor's sons never spoke about it up until now. Richard Pryor never spoke about it publicly. It was a family issue, and now you put it on Front Street. Not to excuse Paul Mooney's actions, but I think the ex-friendship that they had probably was why Richard Pryor had respect to keep it all in-house and never to expose it to the public. And now the public is knowing about it. And, of course, with today's cancel culture, everyone's today is like, cancel Paul Mooney is faggot, Paul Mooney. Oh, God. The man's 80 years old, you know what I'm saying? What are you going to do? You know what I'm saying? But this is wild, man. So, yeah, allegedly Paul Mooney fucked Richard Pryor's son back in the day, poked him in the butt, did God knows what. And now everybody's coming for Paul Mooney. And Paul Mooney's hiding somewhere with his scarf. I told you niggas, I'm the mic man. Oh my God. It's crazy because Paul's always been really low key. I don't know if it's because of his sexuality or what, because he does stand up every now and then, but Paul's always been a great writer. His whole thing was, let me make Robert Townsend a star. I can make Fred Sanford a star, Red Fox a star. I can make Richard Pryor a star. I could. He fucking wrote Homie the Clown, the whole Homie the Clown gimmick from In Living Color. I mean, he's one of the greatest comedian writers of all time. So it's crazy, that Paul Mooney is getting caught up in this, and it kind of reminds me of something like the Bill Cosby scandal. Shit from 40 years ago, and now these guys are fucking senior citizens taking 10 pills a day just to stay alive, and everyone's burying them. But it is what it is, man. So. Let me know what y'all think about this crazy ass shit, man. Hit that like button and comment. I'm out. Frankie Diamonds TV. I gets busy.